he's the lifter of our heads.
Yeah.
So we're not looking around at this stuff. We're looking at that stuff.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Thursday. It's another episode of the Iris Global Green Room, and I want to say thank you. I asked you guys to give some suggestions. One of your suggestions was Joel and Tammy DeBortoli from Iris, Nepal, and guess what? We got them, and you are going to love this interview. If you would like a little bit more backdrop on what Iris is doing in Nepal, we have an incredible 20-minute documentary. The link's going to be down in the description on Iris Nepal, and I would encourage you to watch it. Guys, leave a like, please hit subscribe, and please leave a comment. It really helps us grow this incredible podcast that I know you guys love. So do all those things if you haven't already. And last but not least, at the time of filming this today, it is Wednesday the 8th, something like that. It's Wednesday the 9th, and you guys know what has been going on in the East Coast, the Southeast, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Eastern Tennessee. We have a base in Greeneville, Abel Kariako, and for the last week, they have been going out, mudding out houses, taking donations and supplies and bringing it outside of Greeneville to the surrounding area. And a lot of people have reached out. They want to help. We're going to have some information in the description on how to help, and hopefully in the next few days we'll have a little bit more info out. Please be praying for them. Please, you can go to their website, or you can go to the link on the Iris Global website if you just want to do a donation. I know a lot of people have been asking about that. You can go to Iris Global and donate directly to the Iris Greeneville base. They are going out and doing it. My wife has gone, my kids have gone. Many people from Iris have gone out there to help. I know a lot of you want to go physically, but you can't. Man, the best thing to do is just send a donation. I'm telling you right now, I've known Abel for years. They are handling this well. This has already gone a lot longer than what you guys want to hear. Enjoy Joel and Tammy DeBortoli. This podcast is going to bless your socks off. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Iris Global Green Room. I hate saying like it gets a little like, well, you know, we're on a TV show. I don't like that. We're not on a TV show. We're at a table with some friends. I got some coffee. You guys had some coffee.
We did.
We just finished an event that you guys flew in for.
Super great.
By the way, thank you for coming. It really blessed me to see you guys coming. And one of the reasons why I wanted to get you out here so we could sit down and talk and have this little time together. One of the reasons. But mostly I wanted to just see you guys.
Well, when the coach says something, you do it.
Who's the coach? Me?
Yeah. You said come out. I said okay.
It was an invitation. I'm not an authoritative
I know.
guy.
I can understand. I know what an invitation is and what an order is.
You do?
Yeah, and I'll say yes to both.
Yeah? I love that. Well, there's a couple ways we can kick this thing off. But what I would like to do, which I haven't never been able to do with any of the other guests that I have on, is we have a video called This is Iris Nepal that was produced by James, who's behind all the things, and Matt and all these guys. And they came out and spent some time with you guys in Nepal. And by the way, Joel and Tammy from Nepal, from Iris Nepal. And so you can watch that, and we're going to put that down in the link in the description below. There's going to be a link for that. But if you just search Iris Nepal on our YouTube channel, you can find the video. How long is it, Matt? James, Matt?
About 30 minutes.
30 minutes. It's amazing. It's a journey following you guys around Nepal. And but we have you here today. So I'd like to actually not maybe hit all the stuff that they can see in the Nepal video. And I would like to get a little bit of your history with Iris. So how are you guys doing?
Super great.
Yeah?
Super great.
The event was super great.
Did you have a good time?
Oh, yeah.
So good. An exciting thing was we got to see Surpresa,
Right.
who was the reason why the doors were open for us to become Iris.
I didn't know this.
It's beautiful.
I haven't had
Yeah.
Surpresa on yet. So
Oh, yeah.
people, but I think we're filming him very soon. It's actually tomorrow, but I don't know when it's going to be released. So
Yeah.
it's sometime in the next future.
So good.
They're going to
Super
get
great.
to see Surpresa. So
Yeah.
how did you meet Surpresa?
Well,
Careful with the name, please.
our good friend.
What did you just say to him?
Well,
Be careful with.
Places of names.
Places
Okay.
of names, yeah.
So it'll be a little cryptic.
Yeah.
And we're not being cryptic to be cagey. We're being cryptic because
Security.
security.
Yeah. So when we were in the Middle East, the Holy Spirit was moving. We were, normal missionaries, conservative, apologists, sitting down with Arabs, drinking tea and arguing the Bible and the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
But for 2 years, no fruit. So we went to a conference, and all the missionaries in that region were there, and everybody stood up and gave their yearly.
They're like update.
Yeah. And in the whole region, 2 Arabs had gotten saved.
Really? How many missionaries were there?
A lot.
Like a lot.
100
So 100 missionaries.
at least.
Is there like 1 year update?
Oh, yeah.
So
This is every year we'd all get together from the 7 countries in the Gulf.
and there was
Arabian
only
Gulf.
2 converts.
Yes. And the thing was, we've had conversations. We have people who are willing to talk. We've given away Bibles.
Yeah.
And that was like everything. And then the last speaker gets up, and he's from Algeria, and he's a convert from another religion. And first story, he said, I just want to share a story with you. And he says, I went down to the market to buy some fruit, and guy runs up to me, and he's all like in a panic, this Algerian guy. And he says, I had a dream last night. This man in white appeared to me. He said, come to this place at this time and find you, because you have something important to tell me. And I was like, that sounds way more fun than drinking coffee and trying to argue
Right.
stuff. And then he said, I've never met a person from that faith ever come to Jesus besides a miracle, a sign, a wonder, prophetic word, or a dream.
Wow.
And we weren't really walking or pursuing any of that stuff.
Okay. So where are you guys from? Where did you come from in the States?
Northern California.
Northern California.
Mount Shasta.
Okay. And how long have you been missionaries on the field?
29 years.
29 years.
Mm-hmm.
In an undisclosed location.
Yeah.
And
In Europe first, playing basketball.
Okay. And we're going to get into that.
Okay.
Because yes.
That's how we got called to missions.
But, okay, so you've been in missions. You go to this gathering. You hear this testimony. Can I ask what denomination you guys were a part of? Or was
we were just our community church in
Okay.
Mount Shasta. No real denomination. They sent us out. We weren't a part of any organization or
Yep.
just radically called in a church service in our small town. The pastor who married us went to him and said, God's calling us to be missionaries. And
Wow.
thinking that we were giving up basketball, because at that point I was playing in Europe.
Yeah.
And
Professionally.
yeah, and he said, no, God's going to use basketball to get you to close places.
Wow.
And I mean, prophetic wasn't like he's given us like quite a few prophetic words, but doesn't even know it, because he's not really like into the prophetic stuff.
Okay.
But just because he has the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
he doesn't call it that. But so he said that, and then we're like, oh, okay. So called my agent and said, we just want to go where nobody else can go. And that's how we ended up eventually in the Middle East. We were in Turkey, and we were in Macedonia, and we were
Really?
all over Europe, yeah.
And had you seen like the same statistics as the rest of the missionaries you're with, like very few salvations?
The first 2 years in that particular country, yes. Nobody saw anything. And the deception was, I'll stay here for my whole life, and if one Arab comes to Jesus, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Which is all good.
It's true.
It's true, but it's not.
Right.
It's not what the Bible says should
Right.
happen.
Right.
It's not lift your eyes, and see the harvest is white.
Yeah.
You know, and then this Algerian guy, when he said that, and he shared a bunch of other stories about just crazy healings happening on trains and just praying for people in public. And I'm just like, all of us, our whole team was there, and we're like, didn't know a lot about that stuff, but not against it. I was 100% convinced God still did that stuff, but just didn't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
And so come back and we start like, how do we do this? Like, okay, you know, 1 Corinthians 14:1, pursue love, eagerly desire spiritual gifts, especially prophecy. Okay, let's do that. Let's just pray. Get on our faces and just pray. For that, start reading books, introduced to Randy Clark and Heidi, because we were looking for people that were seeing fruit with the same faith that we were.
And are you guys on the same page? Like, do you hear the testimony and you guys are together? Like, we need more?
Our whole team.
The whole team?
Five couples.
So you guys just went deep.
5 couples. And then one of the guys says, oh, when I was in Bible school, we had this kind of like charismatic professor, and he made us read a book called Power Evangelism by John Wimber.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. And it was, you know, the full gospel, signs, wonders, miracles, and preaching the word. And so then we're like, well, let's read it. And we read it, and we're like, wow, that sounds like way more fun. Yeah. For me, especially, because I'm not a sit-down coffee converse type of guy. I'm like, let's do something.
Even though that's what you're doing, apologetics.
That's what I was doing, because that's what I thought.
That's what you were
missionaries, trained in. Yeah, that's what we were trained in to go there.
And you follow your training, knowing you.
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah.
But it wasn't effective.
Okay.
Wasn't fruitful, you know, outwardly. And I mean, I was close to the guys because I played basketball, so I was close with the guys on my team and definitely bold to share. And but yeah, and until we actually started praying for the sick and getting words of knowledge, getting prophetic words, praying for dreams, didn't see a lot of stuff.
And what was that moment like? Like, when was there a catalyst, a major shift?
Well,
was there a thing?
Back to the point. One of the catalysts was our friend. He
is this the same friend that you and I
yes.
have? Okay.
He went. He because we're, you know, Randy Clark. He looked online, or I don't even know if we had online then. It was like 2001.
Yeah.
He found out somehow that Randy Clark was going to be in Cambodia.
Okay.
And so he writes him and says, hey, you know, I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm working. Can I come and meet you? Because we had heard some stuff from him, and you know, like everybody can prophesy, you know, Randy's whole thing, and impartation, and you know, and can you just pray for me? And he gets an email back and says, you can come and be on my ministry team. so he comes and says, oh yeah, he got an email back and says I can be on his ministry team. He said, what does that mean?
So in 2001, I'm with Randy at this time.
Yeah, he had no idea.
2001, 2002.
He had no idea what ministry team meant, but he said, okay, I'll do it.
I love it.
I think it was 2002.
Yeah.
It was around there, yeah.
I just started traveling with Randy at this time.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you met my friend
Yep.
in the next trip he went on. But this trip, so he goes, we pray over him. Nobody else can go because nobody else can get the time off. And he goes and just gets completely undone. Like, completely wrecked. Like, saw the craziest things.
Yeah.
Randy prayed over him. And while he was gone, God was doing stuff with us, like dreams and spiritual gifts being released while he's with Randy.
Yeah.
So there's this whole spiritual like tornado happening while he's in Cambodia. And then we take him, when the first time I see him, after he comes back, I say, you know, how was it? And he can't even talk. Like, he just starts crying. Yeah. And I said, I want that, whatever that is. Like, whatever you got, pray for me right now because I want that.
Yeah.
And he just prayed for everybody. And that was a really a defining moment in especially like the prophetic and healing.
Yeah.
And then we just started like with no agenda, just meeting, praying for words of knowledge, and then just like treasure hunting way back then, and just going out on the streets and we didn't know if we could get away with it or if it was legal or not. Like,
do you remember the first time you saw a miracle? Do you remember
I
what
prayed.
that looked like?
We prayed for sick people for me personally, probably 2 months, and didn't really see. People are like, "Oh yeah, it feels a little bit better,"
Yeah.
But my daughter was, in hot places. They have indoor play places at restaurants.
Yeah.
So you can sit there and eat, and your kids can just play. My middle daughter was playing and fell off a swing or slide or something, and was like crying, like in pain, hit her head. So I just picked her up and sat down at the table, and I just started praying. 3 seconds, and she stops crying. She says, "I'm all better," runs back into the playroom. And I'm like, wow, that's what's supposed to happen. So that was the first actual undeniable thing that I saw. And then from then on, in malls and on the street. And it was actually a very non-intrusive way to approach people.
Yeah.
Especially if the first thing you say was like completely right on. Like God says you have a kidney stone or something, and they're like, "How'd you know?"
Right.
And then they get healed, and they're like, "I need to know more." So
And Tammy, are you seeing the same stuff happen at the same time, or
with the women?
Yeah, but in where we were, the male and female gatherings were separated. And so a lot of it was for me, I would go with friends and my kids, because the kids would always be with me. And so we'd go and we'd pray for the women and children. And when we'd go to malls, we'd be together. So we'd see a lot of the same stuff there. But his relationships with the friends that we had because of basketball and stuff, it was close enough where we could actually do it together. And so they would invite me and the kids as well with him and his friends, and which was unheard of, because normally they wouldn't let a Western woman come and eat with them. And so we had a good relationship, and we would see God do. We saw God do a lot.
Yeah, crazy.
But that whole story was because that's where we met. Surprise was at the conference.
At the traveling with Randy.
Okay.
So Praise
He was
on
also
that trip.
on that trip.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Josh, can you do me a favor? I didn't get these guys water. Can you grab them some for me, pal? Thank you.
So Praise was in Cambodia with Randy.
Okay, on the trip with your friend, with our mutual friend.
And he met Surpresa and then told him, can you please come to where we were?
Because we had already started seeing God just pouring out his spirit and in manifest ways. Like even our team started to experience the manifest presence, the glory, the heavy weightiness where we couldn't get up.
Really?
Stuff we had never even experienced.
So I love this. Just so for those who are listening, that sounds great. But like, what did that look like in your life? Like, was there a shift? Did you read a book? Was there what was the catalyst?
Well,
we did read a lot of books.
First, it was the guy. The guy at the conference, the Algerian guy.
Okay.
Because of course we wanted to see fruit.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't want to live our whole lives and die there and see one person come to Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is it sounds like a noble thing to say that, but it's really not. It's really not the will of God that not one will be lost.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that just like gave us a hunger. Like,
come on.
And then we just started, instead of strategizing and talking about like, oh, how do you argue this point and this point, and it was like, we just need more. We need the Holy Spirit. We need to be baptized. We need the glory. We need the presence. We need anything that we can possibly get. Because if that's true, what he said was, never ever met somebody from that faith that was argued into believing.
So why do we do it? Why do people do it?
I don't know. I'm obviously not good at it. So
yeah.
And
I've seen it work with, because I love apologetics.
Yeah.
I just do. I don't know why, but I do. I've seen it work when people come out, like they're saved out of the faith, and they have a knowledge of like their scriptures and the word. Like I've seen it work like that because they know the culture, they know all things. But I would totally agree. Yeah. An outsider coming in just like arguing the culture and the beliefs and it's not the best strategy.
No, but I mean, but we were doing it because we love Jesus.
Yeah, pure-hearted, man.
And we loved them. Yeah. We just didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, but God knew. God knew like how to draw us in and not like stumble us.
Come on.
And I mean, that's similar time when the Toronto stuff was going on, and but I mean, we read a lot of books. The definitely Randy Clark trip was definitely a defining moment.
So you went on a trip, or did you ended up going on a trip, or was it just the friend?
Just the friend, and he went on 2.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
you got the overflow.
We did.
Yeah,
and then our introduction to Iris. I'm not sure if this was before Sorpresa or after, but we went to a conference where Heidi was speaking in San Jose.
Okay.
Drove down there in the summer and completely got wrecked for the poor. And here I am in the richest country in the world.
Yeah.
You know? And but anyways, so Sorpresa came and he stayed with us and saw crazy stuff happen when he came. And
let me just, for those of you who don't know who Sorpresa is, or some people know him as Surprise, it works. It's all the same. He's one of the leaders in Iris Global. Was he the first Mozambican that Heidi and Roland met?
I'm pretty sure. She just said that this weekend. So
and just the guy's an incredible voice in the night. If you haven't read a book lately, go to Amazon, buy A Voice in the Night.
Awesome.
It's his story. He's incredible.
He is.
He's just one of the most unique men I've ever met. Super anointed, just walks with God, loves him. I've never seen him angry. Never. And he's just the most amazing story. Yeah. So he ended up coming to your house.
Yeah.
And
up to our country and stayed for 2 weeks and saw crazy stuff. I think the first people we saw actually come to faith.
Really?
When he was there, yeah. So that was super powerful. And
I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did I ever meet you guys in that country?
No.
Because I went.
I know.
Multiple times.
No, I didn't know that. What years?
Gosh, I don't even remember my kids' birthdays.
We were there until 2009.
I was probably
2008,
there.
Actually.
Let me think. I was probably there.
Did you go with, what's the guy's name?
I stayed with a French couple.
Oh, don't know them.
Okay. I know this is super boring because they have no idea what we're talking about. But we said we were going to be cryptic. It's just a nation that you can't talk about.
Right.
I ended up going. I ended up serving in ministering in some churches, like in a home.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
most of the churches were in homes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phyllis.
Yeah. So.
So we never crossed paths.
No.
Okay.
No, the first time I saw you was on the Darren Wilson.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we're not here to talk about me. I want to know about you, but thank you.
And I didn't know you were affiliated with Iris or anything. I don't think they said that.
Yeah, so I became a missionary. Moosey and I became a missionary. I don't know. I don't even remember. It was 17, 18, 19 years ago, something like that. And and I was going around Asia at that time and ministering in the brothels in Thailand.
Yeah.
And Darren heard about it, wanted to film it. And so it was right after my wife and I came off the field, we filmed that. So 16 years ago, we filmed that with Darren. And that spread all over the world.
That was super powerful.
Come on. Okay, so we're putting pieces together, which leads you go from that nation, that secret nation,
got arrested and deported.
You did.
And called Sorpresa and said...
That same day.
Yeah. But for 2 years, at the end, the last 2 years, so 2007, 2008, part of what I was doing was, because I'd gotten this impartation for love of the poor. All the workers, the laborers, lived out of the city in work camps, and started going out there a couple times a week, and just saw crazy. And the most hungry were Nepalis by far. Go to work camp, 5,000 people, Indians, Sri Lankans, Nepalis, Bangladeshis, and preach the gospel, words of knowledge, pray for the sick, healings, and then who wants to get saved? And we had all these Bibles that we had smuggled in different languages, and we're like, okay, what language? So we can give you the right language, New Testament. Go down the line, and Nepali. And I'm just like, what's happening? Like, there's some kind of grace on Nepal. Yeah. And then, when I get taken to the prison, the captain's a friend of mine, which was miraculous, and says, okay, I'm supposed to take you to the airport right now, and you're supposed to fly out. But he said, I'll give you a month to sell all your stuff. And so that's when we called Surpresa and said, hey, we want to go to Nepal because God's doing something there. And we want to be Iris because we didn't have an organization before that. And,
you're just on your own.
Yeah, well, with our home church.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he said, okay, I'll talk to Heidi. So we came home, met with Heidi in Reading, and she talked to us and prayed. And she's like, okay, tonight we're commissioning. We're commissioning Iris Israel and Iris Central California and Iris Nepal. Wow. Same day.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore. we would. I mean, listen, I'm not, and there's no rules. We will be led, but
we might be the exception to that.
No, there's I actually think probably over half of Iris was actually built that way.
Yeah.
Heidi would go up to people and be like, "You're this, you're that."
Yeah.
And it's amazing, and we still we still allow that if it comes from Heidi.
If it comes from Heidi, yeah.
And you get it, right? You get. We had a lot of really hard stories from sending out like that, but that is the gospel. It's not supposed to be clean.
No, it's not.
We believe in people.
For sure. And yeah, she did. And Surpresa did. Yeah. And she trusted Surpresa.
Of course.
And we are just super thankful for our friendship with Surpresa.
So you're kind of like early Iris royalty.
Pretty early.
Yeah.
I mean,
how many locations were there at the time when you guys came on?
I have no idea.
I think we might have been one of the first outside of Mozambique.
Really?
I think. Except for Israel then was coming.
Yeah.
And I think that was like...
Was Brazil going on? Like was Herb doing...
I don't think so.
And Andrew?
I don't know.
Maybe Herb.
I honestly don't know.
Herb. Yeah.
It's crazy. I didn't know this. So you guys are one of the first outside of
2009, yeah. So I don't know. It was January 2009 we started, so.
And back then, what did Iris look like? Like Iris Global, you're sitting here in one of our offices. And back then, what was it like?
They didn't have really anything. Like Heidi had a house on Shasta Lake.
Yeah.
More connected with
the dome.
Yeah, that's the one that they were blessed with. Yeah. Oh, what a crazy story. So
that was a place where we would meet when we'd come home on furlough.
Yeah.
Houseboat one time on Shasta Lake. Heidi's 50th birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surpresa was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we would meet. But there was no office at Bethel at that time or anything like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so has it? I just gotta ask you this out of my own interest.
There wasn't even a U.S. office, I don't think.
Has it been a good thing that the way that it's grown? And please, I'm not looking for you guys to say yes or no.
Growth.
I'd love to know your view as an early one, seeing how it's grown. Do you love it? Do you have concerns for that as the movement's expanded?
No, we want expansion.
Yeah.
We're created to multiply.
Yeah.
Every living thing is created to multiply. So
come on. But weeds multiply too. Yeah.
Every good thing should. Yeah. And it's a good thing.
Anyway, we're getting too deep. This is more. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I want to get back to your story.
No, I mean So we're super thankful. Yeah. I mean, for family care and all the stuff that our missionaries have access to now. Yeah. That we didn't have access to back then. Super great.
Were you there? I don't think you were when Papa Steve from Zimpetu got up. Steve's one of the original Iris gangsters. Yeah, you guys know Steve and Roz. And we were at a family gathering, and Steve gets up. He's like, you guys have no idea how blessed you are. Like, he's like, we never had any of this.
Yeah.
You know, I love it.
Yeah.
And you guys are this, you
Yeah.
never had this
Yeah.
incredible team behind you guys.
Yeah, no, we didn't have any gatherings, and because we were on the Lightspeed commissioning, we didn't go to Harvard School. We
Right.
didn't really know a lot of Iris people
Right.
until we started having the gatherings, and we got to meet people, and just emails and people close, like the Tibetan people and India.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that were closer to us, we would communicate with and try to get together
Yeah.
and get to know them. And they would come, especially from Tibet, would come down into Nepal because living at 12, 13,000 feet,
Yeah.
your children don't grow properly. So they would come down for
Is that a thing?
yeah, because of the altitude.
We were told
One young guy, like 12-year-old kid, he grew like 5 inches in like 5 months.
No.
Just
Coming
came
down from altitude?
Stayed in
Dude, I
Canada.
would like to see how you would have turned out if you stayed up at altitude for years.
Yeah, short, probably wouldn't hit my head so much.
What if you were at sea level? Will we have
man.
another? Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm the worst. Forgive
So-
me. So you guys go to Nepal.
Yeah,
At what year was that?
2009,
2009.
January.
And you've been there to 2024.
Yeah, 15 years.
15
And a
years.
half, yeah.
Yeah. What do you see God doing in Nepal? Why Nepal?
Because they were hungry. And there was some kind of grace. And one prophetic word Heidi gave us at our commissioning was, and I'm sure there was some stuff she didn't tell us about the Himalayas and about, Tibet and same region as Rollins heritage, and all that probably played a factor in like, yeah, we want you to go,
Yeah.
But she gave us a prophetic word that night at our commissioning, and she said, I had this vision that, the end time revival is going to start from the highest place on earth and flow downhill. And so we took that. Like every prophetic word that was spoken over us at our commissioning has been like 1,000% true. Like,
Wow.
favor with the police, like
Yeah.
be transparent in everything,
Yeah.
like nothing hidden, because we were coming from a place where it was completely hidden.
Yeah.
And I get taken by the police. I'm like, I'm just praying for people. I love people because I love Jesus.
Yeah.
Is that against the law?
Yeah.
And they let me go. So, but anyway, so 1% Christian 15 years ago, and now it's upwards of 20%.
Really?
Yeah, but you won't see that officially anywhere because the government doesn't want that to be official, because then Christians would have to have a place at the government table. They
Yeah.
don't want that. And local churches don't really want that either because they like being in an unreached place, because then the focus from all the foreigners are on them.
Yeah.
Once you become 20%, you're no longer like an unreached.
Yeah, I think it's actually above 2%.
Oh, wow.
It switches from unreached to reach.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah.
way, above and beyond that.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
incredible.
we go to places where we'd go 15 years ago and there were no churches.
Yeah.
And now there's, this lady says Jamasi, which means praise the Messiah, which is the greeting instead of namaste in Nepal. I'm like, oh, you're a Christian? She's like, yeah. Is there a church here? She said, yeah. I said, how many people come on Saturday morning? She said, 700.
Wow.
I'm like, 15 years ago, there was nothing here.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, there's a church up there, pointing to these like crazy villages on the
Right.
side of mountains, and chill, there's a church there, We're walking, 7 hours away from the road on a trail. Guy says, hey, Jamasi. I'm like, are you a Christian? He says, yeah, I'm a pastor.
Wow.
There's a church there.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's flowing downhill. So India, Tibet, China,
Yep.
not that I don't know if they're considered unreached or not, but population-wise, it's the most population in the world
Yep.
of people who haven't heard Jesus yet. So.
Wow. You and we have a good mutual friend by the name of Andy Bird. YWAM, The Send.
We do.
Andy. And
Love
he's
Andy.
told me this more than once. And for me, like a lot of people, you hear a lot of accolades, you hear people say a lot of amazing things, but to come from Andy, who's lived this life, his whole life, you know, he told me if he wasn't doing YWAM, he would want to move out to Nepal and serve with you guys. Like that, like he said that to me more than once, like Nepal is his favorite place. He would just want to go and disappear in the mountains and hang out with you guys. What can you describe to us your day? Like, what's the backdrop? What does this thing look like? I hear these stories of you like putting on a backpack and just hiking up to, I don't know how many thousands of feet up for days. Walk us through what one of your outreaches looks like.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's very diverse. Like one day we might be on the street, you know, with addicts and the poor, and lots of sick people come to Kathmandu to get treatment, but then they don't have enough money to actually get treatment, so they just kind of just end up living on the street in front of the hospital. So the need for healing and just compassion is just super, super great in Kathmandu. It's shifted in the last 6 months because there's a new mayor who's not a politician, and his goal is to get all the people off the street. So I'm like, we need a new strategy to find these people, because before it was easy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we have the kids home, taking care of orphans and widows.
How many kids?
We have 40. We have 40 kids that call us mom and dad. I think there's 20-something in the kids' home, and then there's 12 in our transition home that are transitioning out into real life. 3 of our sons are full-time ministers now with us. And yeah, that's the greatest thing. So, yeah, and then we go into the Himalayas and to the unreached places, and they're becoming more far between, more few unreached places, and a lot of foreign countries are trying to develop the infrastructure in Nepal. So there's starting to be roads now, so you can, like, instead of, one of our churches was, you know, 18-hour bus ride from Kathmandu, a 45-minute flight, and a 4-day walk.
Seriously?
Yeah, to get there.
How many
And
churches do you?
walking is up and down.
Yeah, I wouldn't do good there. I'm more of a sea level guy.
So then, yeah, and it's not flat. It takes 4 days. It's probably 75,
Hold
80
on,
miles.
you said 18-hour flight.
Bus.
No, bus.
45-minute flight.
45-minute flight, and then 4 days walking.
4 days, 12 hours, yeah. Yeah, and steep up and down, rugged.
And you planted a church there.
Yeah. It was the most unreached district in Nepal, so God told us to go to the most unreached.
And one of our sons is from there.
Yeah, one of our Nepali sons came from there, so we have a,
So we've been back
from him we
multiple
found
times.
a contact there. So, but now they built roads, so now you can fly in. It's still a 18-hour bus, 45-minute flight, but then you can Jeep there in 6 hours, not 4 days walk.
Wow.
So the roads are opening up the places to the gospel.
Do you find that you like that? In the sense of it's easier to access, but is it losing some of that?
I like the journey because like so many people get healed, delivered, saved on the way. You know, like we stop for people on the trail, and we know because we hike as a group. If there's 20 of us, we stay together. Wow. If there's 4 of us, we stay together. And so I like what God does on the trail.
Yeah.
I mean, he still does it on the Jeep too, but
it's different.
Yeah, but I mean, when I say Jeep, it's not for a 6'8" guy. So I don't know, suffering-wise, if it's harder to hike 4 days with a 90-pound pack, or or to ride 6 hours in a Jeep.
I'll take the Jeep. You can hike, right?
I like.
I'll walk the downhill parts.
I like the timing.
Yeah.
The timing, 6 hours is better than 4 days.
Yeah.
Because then you can spend more time. You don't have to stay out.
Yeah.
away from Kathmandu.
Are you going with him, Tammy? Are you guys going
the
together?
last couple of years, because our kids now, our youngest is 22, she's university, and they're all here. Yeah, I've been able to go quite a lot, and we've done some very nice treks.
Yeah,
it's been good.
No, she's been on some crazy treks. One of the first Fine Fragrance team that came.
Yeah.
Tammy
with
and the kids.
Andy Bird's brother.
Okay.
He was the leader of the team that came.
Wow.
And that was a long trek.
It was supposed to take like 5 hours, and it took us like 12.
Okay.
Over a 13,000 foot pass. And Tammy was there, the kids were there. We ended up having to carry like one of the YWAM girls because she wasn't doing super hot. It was crazy, but
just like altitude sickness, or?
Yeah. But I mean, God just, it was crazy. Like, we get there and we're looking for a place to stay because there's no like hotels or anything. So this Tibetan background guy says, you can stay with us and I'll find houses for you. And ends up he's the witch doctor of the whole valley. And we're like, oh, great. You can tell us who's sick because we want to pray for the sick, And he's like, oh, there's a lady. She's about ready to die. She's got a massive tumor in her abdomen. And we're like, well, show us, take us there. He's like, okay. So we're going to show the Jesus film. So we started the Jesus film right at dark, and he walked us to her house, go in there, and her husband's there, her kids are there, and her sister's there. And she, has this mass, probably, softball size, and is just waiting to die, according to the witch doctor. And so we tell him about Jesus and how he can heal, and have her sister put her hand on the tumor and just say, we're just going to pray because, there were three men, me and one of our Nepali pastors and the leader of the YWAM team.
Yeah.
And so we just pray as she lays hands on there, and the sister starts laughing. I'm like, why is she laughing? And then the woman with cancer starts laughing. Like, weird. Like, normally when you pray for people for healing, they don't start laughing.
Right.
And I'm like, what's happening? She says, it's leaving. It's disappearing. I'm like already? I mean, we prayed for like 40 seconds. And she's like, yeah. And the woman was in excruciating pain. And she like sits up, stands up, and is like, I'm fine. And like, they're like, what's going on? So we like kept praying. And then the next day, they came to our fellowship.
Yeah.
And whole family gave their life to Jesus. And they prayed for some more for the lady, and the cancer just completely left.
Wow.
Like, so I mean, they're
wow.
Yeah, like,
come on.
The sacrifice of walking 12 hours, mostly uphill.
Yeah.
We had like 30 people getting altitude sickness.
Yeah.
It was, we had to walk in the dark. Like, normally we try not to do that in the jungle because it's not super safe.
Well, what's not safe about it?
Oh, there's animals and
what
tigers.
Kind of it? There's tigers.
There's
tigers, leopards.
Tigers and leopards and
like
snakes.
Like tigers.
Real tigers. Big
Bengal
tigers.
tigers.
Bengal tigers.
More in the lower altitudes.
Have you seen them while you're out hiking?
Never seen a tiger. No.
Okay. Have you seen like these leopards and?
No.
Yes, we've seen leopards because they were right by our colony.
Oh yeah.
There was a family of 4
in Kathmandu.
And you could physically see them with
leopards.
your eyes.
Yeah.
Really?
In Kathmandu, there's a lot of leopards come into the outskirts of town. They came into our like gated compound and killed a dog and a rabbit.
Was it you guys that were having pigs killed, or no?
No, our pigs were dying from disease.
That was something else. Okay,
yeah, but
no, we wanted to kill pigs. No, we were going to help because they ruined the people's
that was
potato fields.
Yes, I remember a story of like pig relocation.
Yes,
I think
was
Sean helped out.
Wild pigs. Yeah.
Okay, so, I could talk about animals all day, but I want to hear this. So you guys go, you pray for people. Do you plant a church there? How many churches have you planted?
We probably planted 6 or 7 churches.
Wow.
Outside of Kathmandu. We have three churches. One our church, like our family church. We didn't really have a desire to plant churches in Kathmandu.
Because there's
like,
a lot.
Where we're at, it's like Heidi's saying, a church on every corner.
Right.
That's where we're at. It's like there's a church everywhere. I can hear three churches worshiping on a Saturday morning from my house.
Okay.
Is
that just because missionaries have come for years and planted
Yeah.
and built? But you want to go to the outskirts. You want
to. So because there were so many churches, we didn't want to plant a new church. Mm-hmm. So we started going to church, and then our kids our Nepali kids started getting filled with the Holy Spirit and doing stuff that wasn't acceptable in those churches.
Okay.
And wanting to get baptized.
Yeah.
And the church we were attending was like, you have to be 18 to get baptized. You have to have a 6-month class to get baptized. You can't take communion until you get baptized. So we're baptizing our kids at like 10, 11 because they can understand.
Yeah. And
then the pastor's like, well, I don't know what we're going to do because now they can take communion. And we're like, well, we'll just do church at home for now, because it was causing him like some anxiety type stuff. So we didn't want to do that. But so from that we started church. And then also all of our homeless friends we were sending to churches, and they'd come back to us and say they don't want us there. They say we smell bad. They say that we're drunk, and they might be, but it's okay at our church. They're like, can you start a church so we can come?
Wow.
And then so we started a church downtown, and the homeless people were coming, and we would get hundreds of people coming, and it was pretty wild.
So how do you keep your heart soft from getting bitter at the church or angry at the church? You're seeing people saved, you're ministering to the homeless, right? And you guys do some work in like human trafficking or the prostitution as well.
Our business, Tammy can talk about that. That's our visa. Our visa is that business.
Yeah. And how do you keep your heart pure? Like, because I would just get upset.
It's not about them. If we fix ours on Jesus, we're not looking at them. We just bless them, and they just do things different than us. And I don't get into theological debates with people, or it's not my job. That's not my fight, which I'm glad it's not. Because when I first got to Nepal, I was like, the church has some issues everywhere. Mm. And, and missionaries will talk about it. And I was a part of a group with these men, and we'd pray a couple times a week, missionaries. And we talk about the church. Yeah. And they were like planting these seeds in me that I didn't like.
What kind of seeds?
Just, negativity, negative about the church, negative about believers, and they'll steal from you and they'll lie to you. Yeah. And warning people is important, but there's a point where, you're not just warning people, you're actually slandering. Yeah. And I just didn't want a part of that. And then one day we were praying, and the Holy Spirit came, and we all just started sobbing and repenting. And I heard God say, it's not your job to make my Nepali bride beautiful. It's my job. Mm. And I'm like, thank you. I'm glad that's not my job. Wow. So yeah. So from that day, it's not something that I really concern myself with. In every circumstance, just fix your eyes on Jesus. It's all about relationship with Him, intimacy with Him. It's our first core value. Right. It's it's the greatest command.
It is.
If we simply just focus on that, why would anything else?
It's so easy.
Creep in. It so does. Easily. No, it's super easy. Yeah. It's super easy. But when we and our team find ourselves in that place, we know what happened. Yeah. we took our eyes like this and we put them down here. You know, he's the lifter of our heads.
Yeah.
So we're not looking around at this stuff. We're looking at that stuff. And so, I mean, it's an easy fix. But you're right. It's easy to fall into that.
You came out of you played professional basketball, right? And I know a lot of, not a ton, but I know some athletes, right? Professional athletes. I had Brian Schwartz on here recently. He's a former NFL football player. And I find that pride, right? Like this is the skill set that you have. You work like how, because you and Brian, you don't ooze any of that. Like,
been fighting that for decades.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I mean, sports teaches you some really good things for sure, but it also teaches you some stuff that is very harmful.
Like what?
Spiritually, like pride, like you can do it, like self, and it's you, when it's not. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And yeah, that's the verse that squashes pride.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you start thinking you can do stuff. I mean, sometimes I'll go on the street and I'll be like praying for people, and you know, when you first go and start praying for people, you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Then you start praying for people and you start seeing healings. You're like, oh, great, I can do this, you know? And then, you know, I go on the street and I like start praying for people and like dead, nothing happening. Yeah. And so I just sit down in the dirt. I'm like, okay, God, what's happening? And he says, well, you left me at home. You prayed at home, and then now you think you got this, and you don't. And I'm like, you're right. I'm glad I don't. Wow. And I'm glad you show me that. So that's what we teach teams that come and visitors when we go out. Like, you can't do this on your own. Don't think. I don't care if you've seen 10,000 people healed in your life. Everyone's new. Yeah. Everyone's different. Yep. Jesus never ministered to somebody the same way twice. Yeah. He knew everybody's heart. He knew exactly what they wanted. Blind guys, all different. Yeah. Some he just spoke to, he touched, some spit in the dirt. Yeah. I mean, he just knew. He knew how to get to their heart. And that's the goal, not just the physical healing part. So
I love it. Listen, so we can talk about this for hours, and I want to, but I have some ground I want to cover with you guys. Okay. If that's okay. And we're going to get back to this, but I did a horrible job introducing you guys. But Joel, if you could introduce the world to your incredible wife. Okay. What introduction would you give her?
Oh, boy. She's the most sacrificial person on the planet. Like, lays her life down. For our biological kids, for our Nepali kids, like, she looks like soft, but you try to mess with one of her kids and not good. It's not going to turn out good for you. So, yeah, she loves, well, especially our kids, our biological kids, our grandson, our Nepali kids. I mean, yeah. So,
how did you guys meet?
Oh, in the first grade, second grade, third grade, somewhere in there, primary. Okay. Same town, same small town.
Yeah. Do you remember when you guys met?
I was best friends with his sister in second grade for a couple weeks. And then my family went to a Seventh Adventist school. Mm-hmm. And so it was too big of a school, even though it was a tiny town, McLeod. Yeah. And so we went back to our Christian school. And so in fourth grade, I remember he was doing some kind of Shakespeare reading. His class came into our class. And there he was. Yep. So that's the first time I remember seeing him.
First time I heard that.
I was in fourth grade.
Yeah, I've never heard that. It was a Shakespeare play.
Yeah.
They ran to our class.
Remember that.
And then when did you guys start dating? How old were you?
I was 16. I was
17.
sophomore.
17.
He was a senior.
Have you ever dated anyone else?
No, I hadn't.
So you guys are
Just barely.
middle school, high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
He loved
Yeah,
basketball, so he was very
Sports,
focused
yeah.
on school.
Yeah.
And
I was a very late maturing kid. I just grew, the whole time and physically maturing super late.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the whole dating scene really didn't affect me until 17,
Yeah, not
18.
really.
And how many years have you been married?
33.
33 years. Okay, so you meet, you get married. How old were you when you guys got married?
I was 22. He was 23.
23.
22, 23. At this point, your basketball career is taking off? Had it taken off?
I played in college, and my senior year I was, the best player on my team, and didn't have a lot of team success that year. But, I thought finish school, get a job.
Mm-hmm.
I was a business finance major, had internships, had lots of job offers in the city, San Francisco, and thought I was going to be doing that. And then, unbeknownst to me, because you can't be contacted by agents or professional teams when you're still eligible in college. At that point, you couldn't. Yep. So had my exit interview with my coach and go into his office, and he hands me this shoebox full of letters from every NBA team. And he's like, "You need an agent." I'm like, "For what?" I thought I was going to be working at Hills Brothers Coffee in San Francisco. And he's like, "But I have a friend, he's a good agent." And he said, "I would highly recommend him." I'm like, "That's good for me." So started going to the pre-draft stuff, tournaments, and did better than I expected, better than anybody expected. And then had teams telling me they were going to draft me, and so I go from thinking my basketball career is over to now thinking, well, it's possible I can play in the NBA.
Yeah.
I played.
What were you thinking about during all this?
We were supposed to be getting married.
Okay.
And I knew basketball was very important to him because at that point we weren't missionaries.
Yeah.
We loved Jesus.
Yeah.
But we were still living the American dream, hoping for the American dream, that kind of thing. And so I wanted him to have his dreams fulfilled too. And so I knew that basketball was important. We were supposed to get married the next summer, and we ended up having to wait another year because that's when all the tryouts were. He says that's when my sister got married, which is true. But I'd already had my dress. We were prepared to get married, but we did put it on hold another year because he needed the chance with all the NBA teams. And then he played in the CBA for 1 year.
Yeah. So I went to a bunch of NBA camps, and the furthest I got was with the Mavericks. Got cut, sent to the minor leagues at that point. Played a year there, got married, and then decided to do some summer camp stuff, but not veterans camp because overseas starts in August. Europe started in August, and NBA starts in November. So if you don't get a contract in Europe in August and you don't make a team in November, you're just sitting around waiting to be a replacement player in Europe, which somebody has to get hurt or somebody has to get cut and I didn't want to play in the minor league thing anymore. That was not the best for me. And so then we ended up going to Europe, and we played in Europe for a couple of years, and then had that defining Mission Sunday at our church after, off season, come home, go to church, and this missionary from South America that our church was supporting was going to be there on Mission Sunday to speak. And normally it was, here's what we do. Thank you for praying for us. Thank you for supporting us. And he wasn't like that. It's a small church. It's a couple hundred people. He gets up there and he says, "God told me just to preach from Isaiah 6. because somebody's going to get called to be a missionary from this church today.
Wow.
And I mean, this is a conservative church.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like a place where people just start throwing out prophetic words and declaring stuff. And that was us.
Come on.
Yeah. And he has no clue. Like,
wow.
This guy, I can't remember what his name is, but he has no clue. Like
Sammy.
Oh, Sammy.
There you go.
I don't know if we're supposed to say last names.
I don't know.
You can say whatever you want.
Sammy
and we can
Tippett.
edit anything
His
out
name was
too.
Sammy Tippett.
Oh,
Sammy Tippett. If anybody knows Sammy Tippett,
yeah,
please, let's get these guys back in contact.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be amazing. I have some friends that played professionally, different things, and they get saved, they give their life to the Lord, and some of them, they're like, they don't even touch the game, they don't even look at it.
Yeah.
Some are involved in it, like heavily. Do you still play? Do you still like basketball? Do you still watch it?
I do.
Okay.
We don't watch it, but yeah, I ended up playing, and then we ended up in the Middle East playing, and then I ended up, after I was done playing, I taught at a sports academy for 5 years at the Emir, the king of the country, son started, and taught sports science, sports psychology to these sports academy boys, and that was the second 5 years in that country, and then come to Nepal, walking down the street, like the second day I'm there, this guy pulls up on a motorcycle and says, "You're tall," and Nepali guy, and he says, "Do you play basketball?" I'm like, "Well, kind of. I used to. I'm old now."
Yeah.
I was probably 41.
By the way, how tall are you?
6'8".
6'8". I just would like you to know, you're the tallest person we've had on the green room. Yeah, you win.
I'm honored.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So he goes, "You play basketball?"
Yeah, and then he's like, "Hey, I have a team. You want to play with us?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm looking for people to meet and I'm learning a language, so I'm like, any interaction I can have better. So I start playing and found out like his team was the best team already without me. He's the captain of the national team. And so we ended up winning like the national tournaments. We were winning by like 70 points, and I'm like
just making a little bit,
making a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Which was good. And so yeah, I played for probably 6 years doing that in my 40s. Cause I mean, I'm a giant in Nepal.
Nepal, like people come up to you, a little bit above your waist?
Yeah. So, I mean, like I was a 3-point shooter. That was my main thing.
Okay.
So, I mean, I could get my shot off anytime.
Yeah.
So I could still shoot. I couldn't move like I could when I was younger, but still shoot. So did that. And then, my son got old enough to start playing. I got to play with my son there, so that was super cool.
Come on. So you've raised how many kids on the field?
4.
4. And we were talking about anti-trafficking work a few minutes back.
Ours is, so our business visa, because there's security things as well. So ours is no longer just anti-trafficking. It's also to help the marginalized, or to get people where they're not going into that.
Yeah.
But it's not, like name-wise and stuff, it's not something we're supposed to be talking about because we're trying to protect people that are in there.
Yeah. Is there a lot of prostitution? Is there a lot of, and you've been working in that for years.
Oh yeah.
Can you share about some of what you've seen and any of the stories?
I think as Jesus
Explain
becomes
the trafficking thing.
Well, I think the biggest thing that we see, because even a lot of our ministries kind of join with this, but a lot of what we see is when Jesus comes and changes the hearts of the people, there won't be trafficking anymore. Because a big part of it is you're even sold by your own family.
Yeah.
Sometimes husbands have their wives work. Oh, the whole thing is just very crazy.
There's one caste in Nepal. That's the prostitute caste. If you're born into that caste, you're a prostitute, a woman.
It's just very sad. Yeah. But as Jesus becomes more and more known, that is being broken, and the whole cycle it's definitely getting better. It's definitely getting better.
I told you this a couple of days ago. If you go to Bombay or Calcutta or Delhi,
Yeah.
90% of the prostitutes are Nepali.
Wow.
And they come and they take them to India.
But that's also because of poverty.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're uneducated. Women aren't treated as valuable when you're in a Hindu family.
Yeah.
So they educate the boy if they have a
Yeah.
boy, and the girl will help the family until they can marry her off, or if they could sell her off.
Yeah.
And so,
How much do they sell a daughter for?
I mean, we don't know exactly, but I mean, $100
$100.
bucks.
$100.
Yeah.
And they're just
And
gone.
a lot of times they're
Gone.
promised by the people that come to buy them. They're promised, oh, we will get your daughter a job. They don't exactly say
Right.
what it is, but everybody pretty much knows.
Is there a story that sticks out over your years of ministry? Is there anything you can share about what you've seen? And
Well, recently, I mean, we have one little girl that we don't usually take kids that have family, but one of our, maybe I should share that
Yeah, you
story.
can.
But one of
if
our
you
little,
want to afterwards, we can cut it out.
okay,
No, it's
just
good.
because I don't want them to watch it.
Okay.
No, it's good. She knows the story, and yeah.
Because family, especially like street people that have no means, no education.
Yeah.
So this one little girl was living on the street with her mother and her stepdad, and she was probably at the first time it was happening was probably 10 years old, and she was being sold for maybe 100 rupees. So that's like 80 cents to whoever, and multiple times a night for them to be able to buy their addictions,
10 years
their
old.
drugs or whatever. And so we actually, we have a ministry out on the touristy area every Friday night. And so we were out there, and so we were like, even though she has a mom, we want to try to get her.
Right.
And then we had paper signed so we wouldn't get in trouble. And just that we would be able to put her in school. She could stay
Yeah.
in our kids' home.
Yeah.
And then the street boys told her that her parents had sold her to us, and she ran away because she had heard that we were going to use her like that. And so she ran for a year, and we couldn't find her. And
We found her one time, and she ran again.
because we had heard where she was taken or whatever. And so we went there, and she was crying and screaming because she had heard
Just
terrible things
afraid,
about
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Even though she had started going to our church. And so then
And how old is she at this time?
now she's probably about
No,
11.
when
She
she
was
was
10
running
or
away.
11.
10 or 11.
11,
Okay.
yeah. And so then one of the Friday nights after, it was about a year after we first signed those papers, she had just ran back to be with her mom. And she saw us, and at that point she was ready. She was like, I want to come. And so then we got her. Sean's actually one of her sponsors because he was there when we were able to get her, when she finally
was
did
a
come back.
glorious day.
So that was very special.
Okay, so I've heard, this is the one, the stories that I've heard about. Please, if you feel comfortable, share what happened.
With her coming back,
Yeah.
or
So she was gone for how long?
she
year.
had ran away from us
Yeah.
for
Ran
a
away
year
from her mom.
and away from her mom, but then she went back to go live on the street because it was better. She was being treated as like a
The slave
house
in the
slave,
yeah.
and a lot of the things that were promised didn't happen. Like they said they would put her in school, and so when we first saw her and she said, I want to come, I mean, it was immediate. She comes. Usually street is very different than children that have lost their parents.
Yep.
And usually those ones are just so thankful to have somebody to take care of them and love them. Street is usually they're hardened
Yeah.
and all
They're
of that.
fighters.
Run away.
Yeah.
They're
They
fighters.
run away a bunch of times before they actually stick.
And she came, and she was just so thankful and so soft, and she was just a different girl from the first day. It was so
Wow.
it was so beautiful, and it was
Love
only
Jesus.
well right before we came back here this time, so it was in March or April.
Yeah.
She was baptized. She was the one who asked us if she could be at that point because it
Some
was
of the worship team
pretty new.
at the church.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah,
Our
her
kids,
life
our
is
kids
very
run everything at the church.
Yeah.
They worship, pray, preach. I mean, we just sit there and smile. This is so glorious.
How many missionaries do you have? Or do you have
17 or 18.
17, 18.
Yeah, but
missionaries.
they've been a huge blessing. Like even
Yeah.
while we're
they're
here,
awesome.
to give us freedom to come home and
They're awesome, yeah.
be with our kids and
Yeah.
our biological kids. They're there watching over our Nepali kids and helping and keeping everything running. And one thing I was going to say was some of the people on our team have, because we have different ministries too, like our people do
Yeah.
their own things as well. And we do have people that their main thing is church planting.
Yeah.
And so they do home church planting.
Wow.
But this one particular,
Church planning training, yeah.
Yeah.
but I mean, there's
Nepalese.
already like, I don't know, 100 churches or,
Yeah.
but it's like house church
That's
type of.
yeah, that-
it is amazing.
yes.
It's amazing.
it's-
That's a church.
It is.
God is,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
God's expanding Nepal. Nepal's way past the point of going back.
Come on.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's why this whole school and training to send
Yeah.
out missionaries into Tibet, into India, into China.
We're gonna get there in one
Yeah,
in one
I
minute.
mean, that's what that
That's-
came from, because of the prophetic word about the end time revival going downhill. You know, all that stuff is coming, is culminating now, and that's why we really have this passion to start sending out
To train 'em
missionaries. Yeah,
I want to talk about that, but I want to make sure we understand what all that you guys are doing. So you're evangelizing, you're working with people on the streets, you're going out to villages, you're planting churches, you have ministries that are planting house churches, you're working with
slums. We
in
have
the
one-
slums,
one gal.
people in the sex trade,
Yeah.
you're taking in orphans and widows. What else are you guys doing? Like what
We
else?
have a rehab.
Oh yeah,
From
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
home-
From
from
a
the
farm
homeless.
rehab, and that is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
exciting.
From the
yeah.
homeless, you know, when God said, "Love the homeless, love the poor," their main, you know, even they'd get saved, they'd get healed, you know, and they'd get filled with the Holy Spirit, and then they're in this alcohol cycle, you know, and they'd come to church, they'd be great for 2 weeks, and then come drunk the next week.
Yeah.
You know, we're just like, what's the, you know, we're meeting with them 3 times a week, but God's like, it's not enough.
Yeah.
Like, they need more. They need community, because they don't have, you know, they, you know, 11 o'clock at night, they start thinking about their life. They start thinking about the family they lost because of their drinking.
Yeah.
And then their default is to get drunk.
Yeah.
And because they don't have 24/7 community. So then our rehab is like, it's just a community. I mean, there's no barbed wire. There's nothing holding them there. They choose to stay. And yeah, and it's a farm. So they get to farm.
Yeah.
They get to earn money. And they get to learn farming. They get to learn how to raise animals. And then they get to cast vision on their life. And
Yeah.
like, the biggest challenge is getting them citizenship in Nepal, because without parents, super hard.
Yeah.
And because they can't get a driver's license unless they have citizenship. They can't get the stuff they need if they don't have citizenship. Like, even they can't go to school.
Right.
So one of our Nepali guys, our rehab guys, he's 15 and wants to go to
Your
school.
rehab guy's 15.
Oh yeah, a lot of teenage boys.
Some of
Street
them are
boys.
street
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the street boys. We have one guy, he's 32, and he just came last year. He just decided to come. We knew him for 15 years,
Yeah.
and he had been living on the street since he was 5,
Wow.
and just like rough,
Yeah.
man. And God did a work in him, like deliverance. Like, they all need deliverance. I mean, deliverance is a huge thing, because it's just chock full of
Yeah.
demons, and it's crazy how territorial, because like there's a spot, and we know we get them out of that spot, the touristy red light
Yeah.
spot, get them out of there, and there's a freedom that happens just by geographically moving them.
Just leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first time he agreed, and I was so happy, because been praying for him for 15 years, and he finally was like, okay, I want to go. Put him in the car, me and Tammy and one of our sons, Nepali sons, drive. We get out of the geographical area and just going to cross the river, because rivers are also very spiritual boundaries and stuff. We're just getting ready to cross the bridge. He jumps out of the car and takes off running. And we run him down. He starts manifesting. We start like praying deliverance over him right on the sidewalk. And And then finally he's like, I need to go back. And we're like, you're free.
Yeah.
We are not going to handcuff you and
Yeah.
bring you, even though I wanted to, because I
Right.
know it's best for him.
Right.
And then the next time we got across the bridge all the way to the rehab. He stayed until like midnight and then ran away.
Takes off.
And then the third time he's there and he's like,
He's good.
yeah.
Wow.
Our rehab guys, because we moved it to a village an hour
Yep.
away, and they lead worship. Our rehab guys are the worship leading team at the church on Saturdays. I know.
I love it. And you live stream your services. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no.
I got a
It's-
couple of questions I have to ask you. And if I don't get to these, I'm going to pop, okay? And I also want to make sure we're good on time. Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I and it's partially my ADD. I have lots of issues. I've never asked this of any of the base leaders that we've had on. But I want to see how much all of these things that you're doing, all of these outreaches, this work, what does it cost a year? Like how much money a year? And this isn't an ask. I actually want people to know what it takes. Money isn't actually the answer. It's the heart and the leadership
It's
behind
not.
it. But this, we're not talking millions and millions of dollars.
Ours is
No.
very minimal.
Can I
For what?
Can you give me a
I would-
ballpark?
I would say probably for us, what we do, probably $100,000 is a good
A
number.
year.
Yeah,
So you're talking $8,000 a month,
yeah,
more or less.
something like that.
Our rent for our most biggest expense is our guest house. But
Our
12
transition.
of our transition kids do live there, but
And
it's
teams
mainly
come.
for our guests.
Yeah.
And the teams actually cover that rent.
So this is everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Rehab.
That's feeding people.
Yeah.
That's taking care of all the stuff that you have. That's all of it. Electricity.
Right.
That's
It's
all of it.
Nepal's pretty cheap. I mean, in
Right.
terms of that
Rent's the
stuff.
most expensive.
So I'm bringing this up because I think so often people hear stories like this and they're like, it's impossible. And no, like that's less than what most people
Yeah.
make a
But-
year.
well, we don't pay, like our people, our Westerners
Yeah.
support themselves.
Yeah.
Like we don't cover them, and even their own visas.
Yeah.
So visas are a bit expensive.
Yeah.
If you want to get a visa, if you want to study language,
Mm-hmm.
those are some of the bigger costs. But still, it would probably
If
cover
you would
within
add in, if you
$100,000.
would add in like the expenses of all of our foreign missionaries, it would double.
Right, but staff that like so missionaries
No,
aside,
we're
let's take
talking
them out.
about
Staff.
Staff
We're
is
talking about
included in
staff.
that
Nepali-
8,000.
Nepali- yeah, Nepali
the
staff.
Nepali staff.
Yeah.
And so an average missionary that lives there, what is it for room, board, living expenses?
I mean, it's
what are they?
800 minimum.
They're
a month.
living off about 800 a month.
No, they could.
That would probably be without studying language,
They
because that
could,
would be your
yeah.
visa, your rent, your food.
Wow.
They could live on 800 a month if they had to, but most of them aren't. Most of them are God's providing for better than that.
Yeah.
Because with that, they wouldn't be able to do ministry. Like you wouldn't be
Right.
able to go to the slums and do a
Right.
feeding program,
Right.
because you wouldn't have the money.
Yeah. But that comes in separate.
Okay. You are both like people of excellence. You love a good coach, right? I'm sure you run a tight ship, right?
We give a lot of freedom.
Okay. What do you look for in a missionary? Like if I'm 15 and I'm like, look, my son, he wants to come and visit you guys. You know, if you have, let's say someone like my son who's 17, right? He's like, I want to become a missionary. What are the characteristics that you're looking for?
Willingness.
For longevity. Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
That's the first thing.
Why?
If you're willing to come, we'll take you.
Okay. Okay.
Because
and then,
because it's on the job training. I mean, it's impartation happens when you work alongside somebody. So we believe
yeah, but
in
crazy
faith.
people are willing to come too.
for
like
sure, and we've
people
had
that
we've
will,
had those,
Okay.
and we get rid of those in the first couple months.
We do a lot
Okay.
of worship and prayer. We have a prayer room in our guest house.
Crazy
Spend a
people-
lot of time there.
Yeah, crazy people can't. They can't sacrifice and worship and praise and pray and like what we do with our team.
Okay.
You know,
So
that would-
willingness.
Yeah, that would be a red flag if they didn't like to do that.
Like worship and pray.
Yeah.
Yes.
And soak and like get filled up. And, but I mean, you can tell, people if they're in love with Jesus or not. Right.
Yeah. I think it comes out
You
a
can
lot
fake
faster
it.
on the field.
Yeah.
It's harder here.
You can fake it for a while,
Yeah.
but I mean, in Nepal, like anything that's in here
Right.
within a month is going to come out.
It's coming out.
Because you're going to get healing. Like that's what we tell people. Like
Yeah.
Nepal is famous for bringing up stuff that you might not even have known that's even in there. You thought, oh, I got healing for that. You come to Nepal,
Right.
in a month, if something happens, and we're like,
Right.
okay, we need to get some healing here.
Yeah.
And we see it as, and this is what we explain to missionaries. We see it as like the special forces. If you're out with your group of buddies and you're fighting, and somebody shoots you and it just grazes you. I can put a Band-Aid on that, wrap it up. Okay, let's keep fighting. But if you get hit and now you take 2 guys away from the fight to try to get you healing, that's bad. So we need to call in the evac, get you out, get some healing, then you come back and fight with us. Because we're not equipped. It's not our job to do healing, inner healing, and all that stuff on missionaries.
So what I hear you saying is you want, when you're looking for missionaries, you want as much whole as possible.
For sure.
You were saying something. I had my buddy I was talking about earlier played in the NFL. He said something that I'd never heard before, but from a sports perspective, he said there's a difference between playing injured and playing hurt. He's like, you can play hurt and push through it.
Right.
But if you play injured,
you
have the potential of taking out the whole team.
That's right.
And he's like, playing hurt, you push through, you get help, you work on it. But injured, you can destroy the whole team and the reputation, the season.
Same with, that's why most combat weapons are not high caliber to actually kill somebody. It's better actually if they're wounded, because then you not only take them out of the fight, you take the 2 guys that have to carry them out of the fight. If they're dead, they're just like, I'll take your ammunition and your gun and I'll keep fighting.
That went really morbid very, very quickly, sir. No,
that's the analogy with the special
forces. Is that a real
forces.
thing?
It is.
I've never heard that.
Because, the NATO round's at 223. It's not that. It'll kill you for sure. But, you have to hit like something super vital.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Now I'm thinking about just people getting shot in Nepal, which I didn't know. You're good.
No,
You're
no.
good.
You get shot all the time.
It makes sense.
No, you get shot, like spiritually speaking, you get shot all the time. But how fast can you heal?
Right.
Like, and who do you go to for your healing? And do you let a wound just fester, or do you are you transparent with it?
And as a team, we can see when people are hurt or people have been wounded, and we do pray over them. We take them into the prayer, and we have, just like Iris Global has grown, and we have different people that cover different areas.
Yeah,
we've also grown, and we have people that actually, a lot that our team has been trained in RTF. Yeah, and we have,
that's restoring the foundations
because of the earthquake and all the trauma that caused all of us. And so for us, if need be, we do what we can with the resources that we have to try to help, especially our own people, our own team that's been there for a long time.
No,
and so we do the best we can. And God just linked us up with Iris India.
Yeah.
And so they come for a period of time, and they are trained in a lot of different counseling and so they've been helping lots of our connections that we've had for years.
Family helping family.
Oh, that was a divine
lots
thing.
of deliverance. They're really strong in deliverance.
They came,
it's been amazing.
Yeah, they came and just filled in so many gaps.
Oh, it's been beautiful.
We had.
Come on.
Yeah, it was like this. Here's us, here's them, and
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's been beautiful.
I love watching our teams come together and serve
Mm-hmm.
each other. I really do. It's incredible. Okay, so willingness is the first thing.
For sure.
What's the second thing you guys look for?
Love.
They need to be in love with Jesus first. We would say first they need to be in love with Jesus. Then willingness
Yeah.
Well, no,
to come
assuming,
and live in a hard place.
I'm assuming they're in love with Jesus if they're willing to come and be a missionary in Nepal.
Yep.
There's got to be some kind of some kind of foundational
get
love
it.
there.
But I like
Yeah.
your wife's
No,
answer
she's
better.
right.
Love, willingness,
For sure.
and love for Jesus.
Love is first with everything we do. I mean, if you listen to us talk and teach teams and teach at our school, love is number one always.
Yeah.
Intimacy with God, because I mean, people talk about burnout.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if you're in a relationship, it's not burnout because it's a relation. You're focused on the relationship. You're not focused on the doing.
Yeah.
Even though we do a lot.
Yeah.
You know, so if love and a love relationship with Jesus is number one, I mean, everything else is you're going to be able to navigate everything else with that. If you keep that number one.
Yeah.
But a lot of people come onto the field, they have that, they're passionate, they're ready to go. And then, a couple of things go wrong, like you were talking about yesterday. You go from the baby stage to the young stage, and you start getting a little opposition.
Yep.
And you're like, I'm out of here.
Right.
I'm here my whole life. I'm staying here my whole life. I'm not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
3 months, out of there.
Yeah.
Because they forgot that it's intimacy with Jesus, number one. It's love God. That's the greatest command. Then you move into what that looks like.
Yeah.
So that's number one for sure. But I mean, we've never told somebody they can't come.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, be careful because you might have some people asking to come.
No, that's okay. I mean, if they tell us,
they can make it out there.
If they tell us God says, I just told a guy in line at church today. He said, 35 years ago, somebody was praying for me, and a guy looks at me and says, Kathmandu. And I'm like, 35 years ago? I said, have you ever been to Kathmandu? He said, no. I said, that seed's still in there. You need to come. And the guy's like 65.
I love it.
I don't know him from anybody.
Well, which you're leading me on something that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because you guys are about to open up a school, a missions training school.
Mm-hmm. Specifically missions training school.
I like that.
Yeah.
Can you share about that? Because I think that there's a lot. When I hear Andy Bird say, it's the only place I want to go, that says something to me. Like one of the biggest leaders in missions in the world right now.
Guy's awesome.
He's like, I want to go and sit under those guys. When I hear something like that and I hear the stories that are coming out of there, I am insanely excited about what God's doing on your base and with your school. Can you share about it? Share the vision.
It's all born from that prophetic word. To what happens in Nepal is going to go into China and India.
But God also spoke that to Heidi's word to YWAM.
Yeah.
Because the head fire and fragrance guy that's in Nepal.
Yeah.
He also got that word his first year he came, and he led a team under us.
Yeah.
And then he's now started a huge base. They have a huge base in Nepal. And he also was a part of that word from Heidi. Wow. So God is linking. It's linking.
And that's something that needs to be spoken. Is we're like a very, very, very small part of what's happening in Nepal. Like, if I've said this before, if people see revival as the great catch of fish, you throw a net in and haul in fish. One person, Reinhard Bonnke in Africa, preaching to 1 million people.
Right.
500,000 people come forward. That's not what's happening in Nepal. In Nepal, it's like everybody's standing on the bank with their fly rod and they're just catching fish.
Yeah.
One at a time. But it's 1 million people fishing.
Right.
So that's what it's like. And most of the people fishing are Nepalis.
Wow.
And it's not even a trained or a compelled or a calling. It's I'm being demonically oppressed. I go to the witch doctor. He tries to help me. It costs me 5 goats and a chicken. I get no relief.
Right.
My friend says, I heard if you go to this church, you can get free. Go to the church. Pastor prays for you. You get completely delivered by Jesus. And you're like, I want to give my life to Jesus. So you give your life to Jesus, you get baptized, you're going to church, you're getting discipled by the pastor. Week later, your neighbor comes to you and says, I have this demon. I need help. Can you help me? And the guy's like, well, I'll just do what they did to me. And they pray. He gets delivered by the power of Jesus. And that's how evangelism is happening. It's it's like this forced thing. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to go find all my friends who are sick or demonized and pray for them. No, I'm just going to live my life. And they're going to come to me because of the testimony that Jesus is so famous for physical healing and deliverance in Nepal that people are seeking out churches. Like we have a church with a blind pastor who used to take his son out of school to lead him around to pray for people. Now all he does is sit in the church and people come to him. Wow. Because he's become so known for that. And
for what?
For healing and deliverance.
Healing and deliverance.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, well, why doesn't God heal him?
He doesn't care.
And we do pray for him all the
people
time.
Tell him all
We
that.
pray for
People
him
tell
all
him
the
all
time.
that. They tell him that all the time.
Yeah, he
I've
hears
been
it all
walking
the
around with
time.
them, and they're like, "Wait, you're going to pray for healing? You're blind." He's like, "Who cares?" He said, "Let's see what Jesus does for you."
I love it. How did you meet this guy?
That's a good question.
Outreach in Johnburg.
Yeah, we were just on outreach, and he was fledgling guy, had a couple people. Wasn't really like a pastor, but he just loved, he was on fire. Like,
wow.
When he got blinded when he was like 15, he said a foreigner came in to pray for his blindness, and he felt fire like all over his body when he prayed. Didn't get blindness healed, but got filled with the Holy Spirit.
Wow.
And just from that time, just like couldn't keep it in. Yeah. Like he just like, I need to go preach the gospel. I need to pray for people. So yeah.
When are you starting your school? I got to stay on topic.
February. Early February, yeah.
Okay, and what does it look like? What does it look like?
Well, it's going to be Nepali and international.
Okay.
We had one last year with Nepalis. And this year we're going to open it Nepali and internationals. And the requirement is come to be ready to be sent, trained and sent. Like in April, you're going to be sent. You're going to be commissioned.
Sent and planted.
Yeah.
So no, like, I'm 16 and I'm thinking about like, I really want to get some photos with.
Yeah, no.
How are you vetting these people?
Interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if somebody's watching this and they're like, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life, and I am of character and I love Jesus more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I am willing, right? How would they get in touch with you?
We'll go to the website. You can contact us, but the school will be on the website.
The Iris Global website?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have all that stuff coming up in a couple weeks with Andrew and the whole talking and training and because
which we sat here and made all those videos
because Jeremy they're doing the first kind of trial of this type of school in Cambodia coming up this fall.
Yep.
And we're just going to borrow all their internet application process, all that stuff. So we're just going to step over to Nepal and just change some wording to Nepal and do it that way.
How much is it going to cost from somebody, let's say, coming from the States?
It's going to be just the school.
Yeah.
It's going to be about $1,000 for just the school fees, but then you'll have to pay for your ticket. We haven't worked out the whole living stuff yet.
That's I'm surprised. That's very inexpensive.
Yeah, we're not trying to make any money. We just want to see missionaries sent out.
I love it. And that's food?
No. Well, we haven't worked out the whole accommodation thing yet. We probably have accommodation for 30 people at our base.
And that includes like 15 Nepalese, 15 internationals?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is like a select few. This isn't...
Well, no. I mean, we can expand. We have... I mean, there are guest houses all over the place that we can work with and figure all that out.
I love it.
Under that budget. So I mean, if 200 people want to come, we could figure it out.
Really?
Yeah, we're not putting a cap on how many people can come.
Be careful what you ask for. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's how sure we are that we're supposed to do this,
Oh,
and how
100%.
sure we are that what's happening in Nepal is going to spread, and it already is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already spreading into India, because India, they're seeing so many amazing things happening there that persecution's starting, and that's kind of the reason why Iris India moved to Nepal, because they wanted the Indians to do it.
Yep.
Because they were causing the Indian security problems because of the color of their skin.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to send people, especially Nepalis, into India, because they won't be flagged or anything. So the internationals, I mean, wherever God wants you to go,
Yeah.
in Asia, we'll send you. We'll take you there. We'll plant you. We'll stay there with you until you get settled, because, and then just, be your covering.
Listen, you gave an analogy of special forces earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
I think about this a lot, right? Because we have training places all over the world. There's different organizations you can go and train with. There's different missions organizations. They're all amazing.
They are amazing.
I think there's a difference when you're going at it from like, I'm actually going to go and join up with the special forces. I don't mean that we're more special than anyone else. But I
not
think
special in that way.
if you are looking at getting trained, you also need to count the cost. Some people are like, oh, that's an adventure. I want to do that. And do you have friends in the special forces?
No.
Do you have any friends in the Army?
Yes,
Right.
I did.
Like the Army training is different than the special forces training.
For sure.
Right?
Way different.
The process is hard because there's
Way
a lot
different.
more that's required.
Yeah.
So I know we're putting this out there online but I also want you to like realize that, number one, you have to go through their process. But number two, like it's not just like, yay, I'm going to go explore Nepal and take photos.
No.
Like what you're potentially signing up for is a commitment
For
to
sure.
be planted.
For sure. I mean, you have to have some sort of call.
Yeah.
I mean, and some sort of knowing that I'm ready. I mean, I'm not ready, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Because we're never ready. I mean, the disciples weren't ready when Jesus said, "Follow me." They weren't ready.
No, they left everything.
But they left everything and followed him. So we'll take people like that as long as they say okay.
What about married couples, kids?
Oh,
It's
amazing.
Better. It's
Whoa.
better.
We love them.
Really?
We love them.
It's
that's
lonely
that's
to
what
go
we
by
had.
yourself. So you take your family, you already have your community. And so that's actually, it's better for longevity,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what we did with kids. And it was the best. Like, I would not trade those days on the mission field raising kids. That was the best.
Okay, so you got a husband and wife watching this right now. They have 3 little kiddos, right? Let's say 5, 3, and 1. Okay.
It's best.
Okay.
The best.
And they're like, well, this seems impossible.
No,
We can't do it. How would we do this? What advice would you give them?
Go.
What advice would you give them? Yeah.
I mean,
I would have to say that Jesus has been very faithful with us.
Yeah.
And I would believe he would be the same for them. And for us, it has been since we moved to Nepal, because we used to be tent makers.
Mm-hmm.
So we always had a job before. Nepal's been a whole different thing, but step by step, he's just proven himself to be faithful in every area. Because I know finances becomes a huge thing.
Yeah.
But you can't work in Nepal and make money.
Okay.
And so finances is a real thing, but God has proven to be faithful. When it's his plan, he'll make a way. And so for me, I would say they will grow in their faith if they do go and they trust. And it's way better. The plan that he has is way better than any plan we can dream of or hope for ourselves.
Can you think of any excuse that somebody could give for not going?
Well, let me give you an excuse. And this is mine, but like, I got kids. What if they get sick? What do I do?
They might.
You're like, go, and they might get sick. Okay,
They
now
might
let me
get
ask your
sick
wife.
here.
I
They might
totally
get sick
get
here.
it. I totally get that. I'm in agreement. Moosey popped out 2 kids on the field. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the person this is new to them, right? They are.
Jesus will heal them. He healed our kids multiple times. I mean, our son had septicemia infection. Jesus healed him. A $40,000 hospital bill. Jesus paid it.
And that happened here in America.
Well, it happened
and we've
a couple
lived.
days after we got home.
Yeah.
So it happened there, but it manifested here.
Yeah.
But no,
You're
I mean,
safest if you're in His will.
Yeah.
And
That's
if
the
He's calling
safest
you to do
place.
it,
Yeah.
it's
you need
faith.
to do it.
Do you have the faith?
Yeah. Well, you
Can
grew
you-
in. Hold on. Let me.
For
No.
sure.
Like, let me push back.
A
Gently.
mustard seed. We had a mustard
Yeah.
seed.
Yeah.
We
Let
had
me
a
push back
mustard-
gently. Okay.
You can push back hard if you want.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
So I want to have that faith. I don't have that faith. There's even times in scripture it's like, help me in my
right.
help me in my
I
unbelief.
believe.
Right? So you have a
I
young
believe.
family that's like, these guys are insane. They're walking up mountains for 4
Yeah.
days at a time, and right? Like, I don't feel like I have that yet. I want to go and I want to grow in the process. Is Nepal a safe place where they can grow into that?
For sure. You'll grow faster than you might want to, but I mean, is any place safe?
Listen, you're talking to me like I get it. I know what you're saying. I'm trying to play the I don't know.
Did Peter, when Jesus said, "Follow me," did he say, "Is it going to be safe"? Did he say, "I don't have any money"? He said, "Okay."
Yeah.
Can you think of an excuse that's not refuted in Scripture for not going on the mission field?
Can I think of an excuse that's not refuted in Scripture?
Yeah.
No, there's probably an answer in Scripture for every excuse I can make.
That's right. Like, I mean, the only person that actually had enough money to go on the mission field said he walked away sad.
Yeah. No,
So I mean, the only guy that financially was prepared to follow Jesus around for 3 years said no.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody else that he called said okay, not knowing anything. I mean, Peter knew that. I mean, he saw a great catch of fish.
Mm-hmm.
He was convicted.
Yeah.
The kindness of Jesus led him to repentance.
Right.
I'm a sinful man. Go away from me. And Jesus restored him, forgave him right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll follow you anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, Nathaniel, he gave him like, who even knows what the prophetic word mean? I saw you under the fig tree.
Right.
And just from that, he said, okay, I'll follow you. I mean, they didn't say, well, one guy said, oh, I got to go bury my father.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would think that's a good excuse.
Yeah. Amazing excuse.
But Jesus didn't.
Yeah.
He said, oh, no, it's okay. You can come. He'll be okay.
Yeah.
He'll bury himself.
Guys.
I mean, so faith. I mean, we're all about love and faith, and the more, and you start with faith, it turns into love, turns into more faith, turns into more love, turns into more faith, turns into more love, and that's how you grow. So that's why I said willingness. If you have the willingness to come, and I mean, if you want to leave, you're free to leave. Like, it's not like, you know, the normal thing is, oh, Iris, we require a three-year commitment. But if you come to Nepal and you're suffering after 3 months and you want to leave, we're like, we don't want a missionary who's like suffering. We want you to be like whole and filled with joy, and because nobody's going to want what you have,
Right.
if you're miserable.
Joel, I got to ask a question, man. What did you do to that pinky, my friend? It is pointing in another direction. I can't stop staring at that thing. I'm trying to listen to you. What happened?
Dislocated it like 25 times.
Playing basketball.
Playing basketball.
Well, the first time was baseball, Little League baseball.
I feel like you're pointing right at the camera lens. No, I love it.
Our mutual friend,
Amazing.
our mutual friend. He laughs when I lay hands on sick people. He laughs at that like probably half the time. It brings him great joy.
I love you. Oh, and I just want to show everybody how tall this man is. I just think we like a little perspective. Come on, don't worry. It's
Watch out for your
this is part of your testimony. This is part of your testimony.
It's actually
You have to adjust the lens.
it's actually a crowd gatherer.
Yeah, true.
When I go into a village,
Look at
they're
this.
like, "Oh, we need to go see that guy."
Throw up your hands. I want to see that big old banana hands. Yeah, look at that, man. My goodness, Joel, 25 times.
At least. It got so bad I could just put it back in myself.
Stop.
But
Guys, I love you both so much.
We love you.
My son's sitting off camera. You guys invited us up to go fishing. We went trout. What? Why are you laughing? We went trout fishing up in McLeod.
We did.
It was so great because we like went and got some snacks and stuff before, and like you walk into a store in McLeod and they're like, Joel, like you're a local legend, but more importantly, you're an Iris legend, and you're known in heaven. Both you guys.
That's the only place we need to be known.
I love that I got you on here. It brings me so much joy because I just want people to hear your story and hear what you're doing. And if people are watching this and they want to connect with you guys directly, maybe they want to help, maybe they want to serve, maybe they want to sow into what you're doing, how do they do that? How do they connect?
It's all on the website.
Do you have social
Iris
media?
Global.
We're
Not
very
really.
bad on social media.
Okay.
Not
We
really.
did better when our kids were with us and they would.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Not really. I mean,
Okay.
there's an Iris
very good
Global
at it.
Nepal Facebook page.
Okay.
We have a few YouTube videos during COVID. Super reluctantly, I made some videos of just some testimonies of what God did. Because he told me he wanted people to be encouraged during that time.
Yeah.
And we really couldn't do a lot. So
Yeah.
I did that and I hated it. But so those are on there. So yeah, what he told me was top 10 testimonies of at that time. So I shared one by one. And then
So they can find that on your Facebook.
no, that's on YouTube.
On YouTube,
Yeah.
okay.
If you just search our names.
Okay. Now, you didn't want to do this either.
No.
Was it worse, better
No, this is better.
than what you thought?
Because I'm just talking to you.
That's all I want.
Yeah. No, I mean sitting there with a with your phone. It was just my phone. But
Yeah. Dude, I
Super
feel like
hard.
you hid your hand after the finger comment. I'm sorry, man. I love it. Yeah, come on, keep it up there. Yeah, there's no shame. There's no shame.
I'm not ashamed.
I'm just so curious. I get
I'm
to
not
sit here and just be
ashamed.
curious.
I'm so imperfect, Will.
I'm just kidding. Bro, I love you so much. We went out in a boat. We caught trout. It was such a good day. My father came. My kids were there.
Yeah,
you
your
guys
dad
are
was there.
amazing. You guys are just amazing.
there.
You are Iris legends. You've hit legendary status.
Only because of Jesus.
I know,
A mustard
I
seed
know,
of faith
I
is
know.
all we could
Let
bring
me
to the
just
table.
brag on you for a minute. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay. You guys are awesome.
but people need to know all your bragging would be for naught if it wasn't for
They know.
Jesus. Yeah,
You know me. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's true. We love you.
No, I definitely believe that.
One of my favorite things about you, and I'll close with this, is it every summer or is it like once a year?
Now since our kids are here and we have a grandson,
Yeah.
we do come home every summer.
You come back, and what can you tell the people what you do?
Yeah, we cut firewood.
You will find Joel just
Yeah,
just
amazing.
what's the lumberjack with his like big blue mule oxen? Like, what
Paul
is that?
Bunyan.
Yeah, just Paul Bunyaning it up in the hills of you just got to get in those mountains.
I do.
And
it's
just
it's
move
actually
things.
rest for me.
How many
People don't understand.
how many cords of wood do you cut?
Last summer I cut 150. This summer
And
about
me.
100.
I do it with
yeah,
him.
Tammy's
You do it too?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
And you just
For me, it's healing because I mean, in Nepal, it's like the battle is real.
Yeah.
And that's if people are watching, they want to come, they have to understand. When we say special forces, it's not just an adventure. It's like you get shot, and you get opposition, and you get betrayed, and you have these spiritual things that you have to deal with. I mean, it's hard. People who think, special forces is great, and they go in the first week of training, they're like, no, this isn't what I thought.
Yeah.
No, it's like, it's super hard. So it's not, I mean, it's nice to talk about, but in reality, it's like suffering is one of our core values.
It is. Yeah.
And I mean, if you're going to do anything with Iris or join Iris in any way, I mean, suffering is a way that God draws us closer to himself.
Yeah.
It's part of the relationship.
Yep.
It makes the relationship deeper.
Yep.
Deeper in a different way than if everything went well all the time.
Yep.
Because, I mean, we had the earthquake in 2015, and it just like, we had 7 years of like crazy favor, Will. The first 7 years we were there. I mean, everybody we prayed for got healed. I mean, people getting saved. It was just crazy. Like nothing bad. And then the earthquake happened, and just shaking physically, spiritually. People started betraying us and like slandering us, like people that we loved, like people that we thought were our like sons and daughters. And it was super hard, like a year of just super hard suffering. And just on my face one day, because I mean, did not have a correct view of what favor was. And I'm on my face in my living room, and I'm just like, God, like, what did I do to like step out of your favor? And I heard his audible voice, only time in my life. And he said, Joel, nothing's changed. And I was like, what's happening? Like then, And then I heard the way he regularly speaks to me, and he says, there are places of intimacy with me I want to take you that I can't if everything goes well all the time. And I'm like, yeah, you can read it.
Here we go. Romans 5.
That's
Therefore,
right.
since we've been justified through faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ, through whom we have gained access by faith into this grace in which we now stand. And we rejoice in the hope of glory of God. Not only so, but we also rejoice in our sufferings.
Amen.
Because we know that suffering produces perseverance, character, hope. And hope does not disappoint us because God has poured out his love into our hearts by the Holy Spirit, whom he has given us. And you guys are two incredible team members that has so much love poured out into your hearts. You pour it out.
It is that.
And you guys have been through a lot. You've seen a lot. You have loved a lot of people. You haven't even shared a lot of your war stories. But as we end,
it's worth it. He's worthy.
Is there anything you want to say?
He's worthy.
Yeah.
He's worthy no matter what.
Come on.
And your favorite, if you don't quit, you win.
If you don't quit, you win.
That's right. And it's all about relationship. The gospel is relationship, reconciliation to God. So,
Tammy, what would you say? Just final remarks.
I would say since we first started doing this, and we started out with strictly basketball, and then after the first couple years, because of another missionary family, we wanted to be like them because we saw the purpose. And I would say there's no other job that has more purpose, because it's not a job, it's a life.
Yeah.
And if you want your life to be filled with purpose, serving Jesus and being Jesus' hands and feet on a mission field is the most purposeful thing we can see. Because, I mean, basketball was fun, and it was great, and hope of glory, but glory for yourself. And now it's all about him and his glory, and there's no better job, no better thing we could be doing with our life.
Nothing better. I'd highly recommend it to become a missionary. Nothing better.
I agree.
It's completely never boring.
Okay. I'm going to make a vow.
Okay.
Should I do that?
Okay. I know it's coming.
Within the next 12 months.
Okay.
Hopefully 6. I will come. I have not been out to Nepal yet. I've been out to Nepal on a different trip years ago.
Yeah.
But I really, really want to come out and see your base.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I can't believe Sean made it there before me. I just want to ask one more question. Are you guys in need of anything? Like connections? Like someone's watching this. They have a family member, a friend. Like, is there something you're like, oh, we're looking for this, or we need someone that knows about this, or
The one thing I would say.
yeah, I love it.
This is a little more personal.
Give it to me. That's what I want.
So we do have a big group of our kids, over 12 of them,
Yeah.
that are now university age, that actually would love, and I'm not just talking, not the financial part, anybody that would have connections to be able to let them get here. Because even just to work with us in the summers, or just to bless them so they could
visa process.
somehow get to America. The visa process is so difficult for Nepalis because they're still listed as a terrorist country because of the Maoist.
Okay.
And so if there was anybody that could help in any way, or just give us advice of how we can do it to let some of them be able to come, or however we could work it out for them to go to school.
Like a university that knows how to get people over here, a senator, somebody want, because we get
something
this
like
thing
that.
This thing goes out. This thing makes traction. It's
Anybody
amazing.
with any kind of connection like that.
Okay. And if they have some
They would
info,
all love to come.
please reach out directly
Yep.
to them, or you can send an email to us, info@irisglobal.org, and we will get it to you guys. Just right in there, Joel and Tammy.
Yep.
We will get it. We will get it to you guys. Guys, I love you.
Love you too, Ro.
Love you too.
I'm so grateful that you came. I'm so grateful we got to hang out.
grateful.
And I'm just so grateful for the model that you are to Iris, to all of Iris, and to all those that get around you. The love, the passion, the zeal for the Lord. It's tangible. And man, you guys you're just Iris legends. You've reached Iris legendary status. And I'm just so grateful for you guys.
We're
Okay.
grateful.
We're grateful for you as our leader.
Stop.
Our boss.
I'm not. Stop. Don't say that. Don't be weird. Don't make it weird. Don't make it weird. He's making it weird. Guys, I know you like this one. Hit like, hit subscribe, share this, leave a comment, and man, we'll see you on the next episode. You guys are amazing. You did amazing.